I'm going to be brutally honest with you. Growing up hurts. Changing hurts. But you know what hurts even more? Staying stuck in a life that no longer represents who you are. That's the cost of transition. And if you're in the middle of that mess, where your old friends no longer understand you and your new results haven't arrived yet, let me tell you something. This is part of the process. You don't fit in with your old group anymore because you're no longer like them. But you haven't yet reached the level you want, nor do you have the results to blend into the circle of people already where you dream of being. Welcome to no man's land. Welcome to the loneliest phase of your journey. This phase is hell, I won't lie. It feels like you're floating without solid ground. Old friends start to look at you sideways, call you stuck up, and say you've changed, and you know why? Because you have changed. While they keep talking about the same nonsense and living the same mediocre lives, you've started to see something bigger. But here's the problem. The new you doesn't fully exist yet. You're in the middle of the process. You're grinding, learning, trying, but you don't yet have the fruits to show for it. And that hurts. It's like standing in the middle of a bridge, looking back and seeing an abyss, while looking forward and not seeing the end. Here's the truth no one tells you. This transition is incredibly lonely. It's at this point you realize that not everyone who started with you will stay by your side. And you know what? That's okay. Life is filtering out the people who don't have space in the future you're building. Old friends might laugh at you now. They might call you crazy, a dreamer, or delusional. But deep down, they're uncomfortable. Your change exposes their stagnation. And when you finally make it, guess who'll be the first to pretend they always believed in you? This transition isn't just a phase, it's a test. Life is asking you, do you really want this? Because if you can't handle the pain of leaving the past behind, if you can't handle walking alone for a while, you don't deserve the future you desire. Most people give up here. Most people run back to the comfort of the old group, the old excuses, and the same shallow conversations. And guess what happens to them? Nothing. They stay exactly where they were, year after year. Is that what you want for yourself, the bright side of all this? This pain means you're on the right track. If you feel out of place, it's because you're growing. It's because the old version of you is dying to make way for something greater. And let me tell you, when you finally cross that bridge, when you become who you're striving to be, none of this will matter. You'll find new people, new connections, and new circle. And this time, these people will inspire you instead of dragging you down. But that only happens if you endure the struggle now. Yes, this phase sucks. It's uncomfortable, lonely, and confusing. But do you know what's worse? Stopping halfway. Staying forever in limbo between the old and the new. You don't want that, do you? So keep going. Embrace the pain, embrace the solitude. Because in the end, this transition isn't breaking you, it's shaping you. You nitrogen monoxide longer fit with your old friends, but you don't yet have the results to join a new group. And you know what that means. You're exactly where you need to be. Keep moving forward, don't look back. The new you is waiting, but only if you have the courage to keep walking. Will you quit or transform? The choice is yours. Listen up, no one cares what you're going through. No one sees the sleepless nights, no one feels the aches in your body after hours of training, no one knows what you've sacrificed to get here. And do you know why? Because no one cares. The work that matters, the work that truly takes you to the next level, is done in solitude. Without applause, without likes, without validation. If you're waiting for recognition while you build something, here's the truth. Success comes from what you do in the dark, far from the spotlight. The ultimate test of your willpower is simple. What do you do when no one's watching? It's easy to look like a hard worker when there's an audience. But what about when it's just you and silence? When no one is there to push you, motivate you, or hold your hand? Do you keep going, or do you stop? Because it's in those moments that winners stand out. When no one's watching, that's when champions are made. While the weak rest, you train. While they sleep, you study. And do you know what that means? That in the end, when the results show up, you'll have something no one can take from you. The certainty that you built it all by yourself. When you're at the top, remember this. No one was there when you started. No one was there to carry the weight with you. It was your hands, your sweat, your pain. Only you know about the endless nights, the doubts that ate at you, The times you almost gave up but chose to keep going. Let me be direct, no one should have been there. Because this is your battle. The invisible work is what separates the mediocre from the extraordinary. And that's exactly why so few make it. Most people want the shine, but not the shadows. They want the prize, but don't want to pay the price. Now let me tell you the truth. No more sugarcoating. Without discipline, you are nothing. You might have dreams, goals, ambitions, great. But if you don't have the ability to get up every single day and do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it, those ambitions are nothing more than illusions. Want to change your life? Discipline is the price. Want to achieve what few achieve? Discipline is the secret. And if this sounds harsh, let me tell you, reality is even harsher. Do you know what your problem is? You're always asking yourself how you feel. Oh, I don't feel inspired today. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. What nonsense is this? Do you think great winners have time to measure their mood? Of course not. Because they know life doesn't care about how you feel. Success doesn't care about your tiredness, your laziness, or your excuses. It's not about how you feel, it's about what needs to be done. Remember this as an absolute truth. If you still think you need to wait for motivation, you've already lost. Discipline kicks in when motivation fails, and trust me, motivation will fail. Do you think champions are always excited, always motivated? Do you think they feel like training every day, studying nonstop, or sacrificing comfort? No. But do you know what they have? Discipline. They do what needs to be done because they know the prize only goes to those who endure. Meanwhile, the loser is on the couch, procrastinating, waiting for the right moment. And do you know what happens to them? Nothing. Because the right moment never comes. Discipline is what separates those who talk about what they want from those who actually go out and make it happen. Want to change your life? Start with discipline. Because nothing, absolutely nothing happens without it. You can be talented, you can be smart, you might even be lucky. But if you don't have the consistency to show up, work, and improve every day, none of that matters. Discipline is the pillar that supports any transformation. And the best or worst, depending on how you look at it, part is that it has no secret. It's simple. You either do what needs to be done, or you don't. It might sound contradictory, but discipline is the greatest form of freedom you can have. When you master your mind and body, when you do what needs to be done without hesitation, you free yourself. Free yourself from laziness, from fear, from doubt. You become the owner of your life instead of a slave to your emotions. Do you know what the biggest mistake people make is? Believing that discipline is a prison. That following rules and keeping a routine is a negative thing. But let me tell you, the real prison is living a mediocre life because you were too weak to commit to your goals. So let me ask you, do you have the courage to be disciplined? To do what needs to be done every day, even when you don't feel like it? Because if you don't, admit right now that you'll never get anywhere. But if you decide you're going to be consistent, that you'll work regardless of the circumstances, then there's nothing in the world that can stop you. Discipline is the foundation. Without it, you build nothing. With it, you build everything. It's not about how you feel, it's about what needs to be done. You're sitting there complaining that you still don't see results, that the effort isn't paying off, that it's taking too long. Let me be blunt. No one builds something grand overnight. Real success doesn't come from shortcuts. It comes from patience, consistency, and vision. If you can't think beyond the now, you'll never achieve anything great. Etch this into your mind. Every effort you make today, every sacrifice, every act of giving up, is a brick in the foundation of something much greater. And if you don't understand that, you're doomed to live a mediocre life, always chasing instant gratification. Do you know why most people fail? Because they're playing the wrong game. They want everything now, money now, success now, recognition now. But what happens to those who act this way? They quit at the first sign of difficulty. Because when results don't come quickly, they conclude the effort wasn't worth it. Life isn't about a sprint, it's about a marathon. It's about who can endure the process, day after day, while others give up. Are you willing to wait? Are you willing to work without seeing immediate returns, knowing that down the road, it will all be worth it. Because if you're not, you've already lost. What are you planting today? Because if you're planting nothing, there's no point in expecting a harvest. And do you know what's worse? Some people plant and then start digging up the soil to see if the seed has already turned into a tree. What kind of childishness is that? You can't rush time. Everything has its cycle, and your job is to keep watering, keep caring, even when nothing seems to be happening. Here's the harsh truth. Those who quit because they don't see immediate results will never have anything significant. Those who understand that the future is built in silence, with patience, are the ones who make it to the top. Want to live an extraordinary life in the future? Then be prepared to give up a lot in the present. Yes, while your friends are partying, sleeping in, wasting money on useless things, you'll be grinding. You'll be building. And do you know what's ironic? In the future, those same friends will look at your life and envy you, not understanding the work you put in to get there. A long-term mindset requires sacrifice. It means accepting that today's discomfort is the price for tomorrow's freedom. And if you're not willing to pay that price, you're condemned to a life of limitations, period. The greatest enemy of a long-term mindset is the constant pursuit of immediate pleasure. Social media, junk food, impulsive shopping, all of this is poison. Every time you choose instant pleasure, you're sabotaging your future. And do you know what's worse? You know this, but you keep repeating the cycle.